Hey, Larry Rivera here with my good friend and partner, Jamie Pelais.
Hey everyone.
And today, I stole the marker. And today we're going to talk about money. And look, I got colored markers. We're going to talk about money. And why, no matter how hard we want to make money, a lot of times we end up not making any money.
And actually, we're going to go a step further. We're going to talk about, as a whole, why you don't get what you want.
Why you don't get what you want. Hopefully you can see this stuff on the board.
So why you don't get what you want and why you get, the exact thing that you're trying not to get, because a lot of us do this. I'm guilty of it, you've been guilty of it. We know how to fix your problem, so keep listening and you'll find out real quick.
But quickly, I want to share a story with you. Back in 2011, I was going broke really fast. And although I understood how to market on the internet, how to sell stuff, I really wasn't making the sales that I needed to make, and I was just losing money and losing money and losing money. And maybe you can relate to this, right? I was buying advertising, I was getting leads. People would sign up and then they would quit. And one day, I finally said, dude, I can't do it this way anymore. It's just not working, right? And I had a really big negative attitude. Well, this person's making money, that person's making money, why are all these people getting rich? And I'm always focusing on what everybody else is doing, and that's all I ever see.
Right, so you were just like, why, so it's kind of, not necessarily you were jealous, but like almost kind of envious, like, well, why them, not me type of thing.
Yeah, I was getting pissed off, right? They didn't look smarter than me. Well, some of them looked a little smarter than me, but most of them didn't look smarter than me, and I couldn't figure it out. Well, I am a person who doesn't like to read. A lot of people say you need to read more information, they put up their books, and I got some books I can put up that I've read. Maybe 3 of them, ever. But people, I was very stubborn. And I think what I picked up from a book I was reading was that, and I forget the name of the book because I don't read that much, but if you always are staying negative towards everything, you tend to latch on to the things that are negative.
Right.
More than you latch on to the things that are positive in your life. Right? So 2011, I'm struggling, I'm failing, all these people around me are making money, and all I'm focusing on really is, why is this person making money? Why is that person making money? Why can't I make any money? Why am I struggling? Does my wife look at me like I got rocks in my head when I'm trying to tell her that I'm an internet marketer, I'm going to be rich?
And you're probably sitting there going, I have all these skills, right? Because you'd been in internet network marketing for a while, so it's not that you didn't have the skills, but you were doing what? You were concentrating on what you didn't have and why other people were getting it and not you, right?
Right. Well, a deal came along, and I was watching a training because although I don't like to read, I do like to watch trainings. And it's funny, I say I don't like to read, but I'll read magazines, I troll the internet, I search stuff, and I read stuff all the time. Anyways, everything fell in place for me, and I really started to believe in what I was doing. And in my mind, I started changing how I started thinking about things. Instead of thinking what everybody has, I started thinking about what I actually had. Instead of thinking about all the things that I did that caused me to fail, I started thinking about the things that created successes. And there were little successes, my first sale, my first lead, my first positive phone conversation I had with a person. And I started dwelling on these things. Up until, I approached somebody who I developed a relationship with a little bit on the internet. I never met this person in person, but I created this little bit of a relationship, and I was practicing changing my attitude, because I actually do know from martial arts, honestly, that habits that are created stick with you. Mm-hmm. If you start creating a bad habit, that bad habit can encompass everything that you do. And it takes 1,000,001, so my Sifu says. takes 1,000,000 to 1 coverings of a good habit to cancel out a bad habit. And even though you cancel out a bad habit, that habit's still somewhere floating around and hiding. But if you get more good habits than you have bad habits, you start having favorable results. So I changed my mindset, and it was a working process. I started thinking, okay, the things that I do have, that I'm not really a loser. I started going, hey, I have made money online. I have created levels of success in my business, and I approached this gentleman who made a name for himself on the internet. I'm not going to mention his name because that's just rude. He started making some money online, and I presented to him with my new mindset what I discovered, what I seen was the problem in the internet space of ours. Long story short, because I approached things with a different mindset instead of thinking about what I didn't have, focus on the things that I did have, I convinced this gentleman to join my deal. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the first time when I realized, well, I'm as good as anybody else, right? And that's when, from that point forward, I started changing a lot of thought patterns, and I started seeing my income go this way. And really, it was a change. And it was a change of my mind. It was a change of the way that I seen things. It was a change of looking at all my bad habits as trying to erase my bad habits, because it was my fault. First thing, if you want to make more money in your life, because none of us really want the money. I don't think any of us really cares about money. I don't think you care about money. What I think you care about, because the lovely Jamie here writes better than me. Could you write resources?
Sure.
Do them.
I think it is
Ah,
the resources. What you actually care about is the resources.
You care about the resources, and by this what we're talking about is you care about going on vacations, you care about being able to buy whatever gizmo gadget you want. Maybe you want an Xbox One, maybe you want a big television.
Maybe you just want to buy a home for your family because you're sick and tired of renting an apartment.
Or maybe you want to create a greenhouse in your backyard and grow organic food. Mm-hmm. Right? It doesn't matter. It's not the money that you're after, it's what the money provides you is what you really want. So,
because you know what, if the money system, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, if the money system that we have currently, just completely went away, you'd still be looking for what? How to get the resources.
The resources. Right? It's not the money. Money, for lack of better words, is just something that you need to get what you want.
Right, it's just a tool, but in reality, this is what you want the resources.
And I think that in order for your income to change, in order for your home-based business to start having a more productive, positive influence in your life, you need to stop looking at what you don't have. If that's you, it may not be you. I'm just saying. If
you might be loaded.
You could probably be loaded, who knows. But if you're that person who's looking at money and it's such a negative thought, I don't have enough for this, I don't have enough for that, why can't I buy this, why does my neighbor have that nice new car?
Why don't I have that nice new car? Yeah.
Just, if that's where your focus is,
thinking.
It's always going to come back to you not having enough. Instead, what I suggest is that you focus on the things that you want and the things that you've accomplished. Like, for example, I got this really good sale in my deal from a gentleman who can sell like it's going out of style, right? He's a badass marketer. And I think back to that time on what did I do to make that sale? What changed for me to make that sale? And I think that way too with a blog post. Like if I write a blog post and I get a lot of comments, I go, well, I saw in blog posting. Why are they commenting on my blog post? What did I write that makes my blog post more interesting than other blog posts? Because I write tons of blog posts, and sometimes my blog posts don't even get anybody comment on it, and then other times, what are the things that are getting the results that I want? So if you're focusing on what you don't have, you can't ever look at the things that you might have at your disposal to get the resources that you want.
Right, and not only that, but if you're concentrating, like let's say you're that person, because I know there's like one of you, you right there. He's
hiding behind that old lady.
The red shirt right there.
When I say old lady, I'm talking
you're
like
loaded. You got lots of money,
because
you're still completely miserable. Why? Because you're always concentrating on the money portion. You're afraid to spend it. You're afraid to do anything with it. You're trying to hoard it because you're not thinking about the resources. What could I be doing with my money instead? So even the person that's loaded, yes, you need to think about your resources and stop worrying about the money.
Because if you want to start getting the things that you want out of life, right? If you want to start obtaining the resources you're after, it's really not about the money.
Right.
It's about you. It's about how you're looking at this entire situation, right? Are you doing stuff with the mindset of scarcity mindset, the things that you don't have? Are you looking at the things that you want, thinking about ways that you can get them based upon your own experiences in life? At some point you have to get a lead if you're in this home business area. At some point you have to make a sale. What caused you to get a lead? What caused you to make a sale? What's changed that has created the positive result you want? Right? Because if you don't have what you want yet, that's okay. It's okay not to have it.
And he said a key word there, yet. So think about the resources you currently have, and then when you think about what you don't have, don't go, well, I don't know how to copyright, I don't know how to blog. Say, well, I don't know how to copyright yet. I don't know how to blog yet, because now you're putting a positive connotation on that, and it's just a matter of when you're going to accomplish those skills instead of completely negating it and thinking of it as something negative.
Right. And that's a key component here, because your mind is a very powerful tool. And you're creating either good habits or you're creating bad habits.
It could be your best friend or your worst enemy.
You're doing it all the time. You're doing it even right now. Maybe your mind is stuck on not wanting to. You might be self-sabotaging yourself, to be quite honest. You might be looking at what we're saying and listening to what we're doing, and you're already thinking to yourself, well, this is bullshit. It ain't gonna work.
Right. This isn't going to work for me. Well, maybe it works for them, but it's not going to work for me. Well, that's nice that it works for them, but it's not going to work for me. Don't think like that.
Because the reality is, certainly this stuff can work for you if you hear what we're saying to you, which is...
Well, it's really a scientific formula. I mean, if you even look at, the most ancient of ancient scriptures, this has been going on through time. What you think about is going to create results in your life. And I'm going to give you guys an example of something that's not related to money, because maybe some of you can't relate to the money example, or maybe you can't relate, to what Larry was saying in regards to, making some sales, whatever, because maybe you're just getting started, or maybe you haven't even started yet, and that's okay. So I'm going to give them a real life example that a lot of them can relate to. So one of the things that I did early on is, some of you may or may not know, that I grew up in a very dysfunctional household. I love my parents dearly, but it was dysfunctional at best. My dad could either be your best friend or worst enemy, like very highs and lows, and a lot of crazy things were happening in our lives. And I always kept looking at the relationship saying, this is what I don't want in my life. So when I became, old enough to start dating, and then eventually was looking, to the age of marriage and stuff like that, all I kept concentrating on was what I didn't want. Well, I don't want to be in an abusive relationship, and I don't want this, and I don't want that, and I don't want this, and I think you get the drift. Like, I just kept concentrating on that. Why? Because I didn't have an example of what I wanted, so I kept concentrating
focusing on the things that
right, the things I didn't want. Guess what happened? I got the exact thing I didn't want times 10. When I say that the marriage that I was in, like as far as abuse level, was tenfold of what I experienced as a child growing up in my household, like I'm not kidding you. And why did it happen? Because I kept concentrating on what I didn't want. I didn't know what I wanted. Yes, did I know that I wanted to have a relationship? Yeah, but I didn't have those specific examples.
Hold that thought. I'm gonna, because I've done martial arts most of my life, I'm gonna start relating more to martial arts. I can understand things better in a martial art environment. You have two things going on in your life. You have responses and you have reactions. Naturally, our body reacts to things. It doesn't respond to things. Well, a natural reaction is to do what she just said. If I'm telling you, and I'm going to explain this, what she just said right there in a nutshell, I'm going to explain to you in a way that was explained to me that made perfect sense, is right at this moment, right now, as I'm talking to you, I don't want you to think about pink elephants. And what's the first thing that happened to you?
You thought about pink elephant.
I know you did. Don't lie, no, I didn't think about that. You most certainly thought about pink elephants. And you thought about purple elephants, even though I'm telling you not to think about purple elephants too. You can't help it. You can't help it. It's a reaction. Martial artists become good because they get rid of their reactions and they create responses. Right? So it is a reaction for you to look at money in a negative light because you're told you have to work hard. Because you know that people are out of work. We know that there's a lot of people out of work.
You gotta go to college, you gotta do this, you gotta go to college.
You hear about people having to file bankruptcy, you hear about people whose houses go in foreclosure, you hear about people who have dysfunctional families, and what do you focus on? You focus on the dysfunction. You focus on the bankruptcy.
Good stuff. So that's how I ended up in my relationship. Why? Because I didn't have those good examples. So maybe you're in a relationship right now, or maybe there's something in your life that you don't like, and you realize while you're listening to the sound of our voices, it's because you were thinking about those things more than what you could have had, more than what you actually wanted. So what the whole purpose of this is, why don't you get what you want? Well, it's because you're thinking about the very thing that you don't want. So it's as simple as stopping right now, right here, and deciding to change how you think. Think about what your resources are, what you're going to have for resources later on, because maybe there are certain resources you don't have yet, but don't think of it as, well, I don't have them, so I'm screwed. Think of it as, I don't have them yet, and then think about what is it you're going to do to get those resources. So always think of things in a positive light.
You know, I have a way to get resources.
Yeah?
I know a way you can get more resources, but to find out my particular way to get more resources, you're gonna have to opt into something, I'm sure.
Of course.
Because, you know, we got a video and you gotta do something with the video.
Absolutely.
I don't know. There might be an opt-in box on this video, or you know what? There might not be. We might just be giving you this video anyways. And I don't know, man. The FTC and the CIA, the FBI, and all these people are after everyone. So there's an income disclosure, right? Like, I don't think we talked about money really, except for the word money.
Right.
You said money. You said money.
Right.
So like an income disclaimer, man. You know, like results vary in life and in everything. And if for whatever reason you don't make what you think you should be making, don't blame me, because I just told you results vary, and most people in this internet thing don't make money.
Well, unfortunately, most of them aren't gonna actually listen to what we're saying anyways.
No.
That's the sad
You know, we're really telling you something here that's life-changing, and although there's an income disclaimer where, you know, results vary, but I'm telling you what we just said, if you go back and play this video,
it's a formula.
Not only is it a formula, it's worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
And it doesn't just work on money, it works on relationships, everything.
So what we're saying is you need to focus on getting, focus on the resources that you want.
What makes you happy? What makes you tick? You know, what you enjoy doing?
Really, it is really about staying focused on the things that you want. I know a gentleman, and I'm not going to mention his name. If he watches this video, he might even know who I'm talking about, who at least once a week tells me he's doing great, I'm doing great, and at least once a week tells me how everyone around him sucks and everything's washed up and everything's beat up and everything's stupid. And then the next week, everything's great for a day, and then it sucks and it's stupid and this person's terrible and that person's terrible and this doesn't work and that doesn't work. And you know what he does? He goes in a big fat circle over and over and over and over, and he goes, Larry, why are you always happy? He goes, what are you doing now? I'm putting a new addition on my house. What? Oh yeah. I get down like everybody else gets depressed over stuff, but as soon as I start getting depressed because I've been studying the habits that were bad, I quickly take that out of my mind and I do something I enjoy. And it's something random a lot of times, just to get my mind away from what's really tearing me down at the moment. And then I come back, I relook at the situation.
Because you can look at it with fresh eyes, a better mindset.
And I know that I'll be able to find a solution to my issue.
Absolutely.
Right? Even as much as making a clear decision to do more videos for you guys and touch on some of these things that has led to me making more money on the internet and having a better, a happier life, a happier existence. Because there were some dark times in my life where I was really down and low. And unfortunately, like a lot of other people, I was stuck on the money, not realizing I wanted the resources.
Right.
You know, once I realized that it wasn't the money that I was after, right? It was how I wanted to live. I started to come up with ideas and ways for me to focus on just the things that I needed to do to continually move forward in my business and in my life. And a lot of that has to do with being a better salesman, being a better speaker, coming up with better ad copy. Now, how do you do all that stuff? How do you become a better speaker? How do you sell more stuff if you don't like talking to people? Right? Those are...
You train, you learn, you apply.
You train, you learn, you apply. And there's a lot of that we're going to be talking about in the upcoming videos and stuff. But what we wanted to really address here is to understand that you need to change the way that you see money and stop being negative about it.
And just anything in your life. If you're getting results that you don't want in your life, start looking at what do you think about that particular thing? Is it a positive? Is it a negative that's coming out of your mouth and in your mind? Because if so, that's the root cause of the problem.
So yeah, listen, we got access to crazy amounts of training that is It's really good training.
Yeah, this is just like a little...
This is a teaser. We're just teasing you to start setting you on the right path. If you really want to get into the meat and into the heart of what's going on here.
Or the potatoes if you're vegetarian.
Or the potatoes if you're vegetarian. What I like you to do right now is go ahead, find the opt-in box and opt in. Don't worry, we don't bite, especially her, because she's like a vegetarian, I think. Although she's kind of a vegetarian. We can force meat down her throat once in a while.
As long as it's biblically okay.
But so yeah, opt in, don't be afraid, watch whatever videos pop up.
You know, if there's a place to comment or something, comment below.
Yeah, comment. Yeah, don't be hyped. Listen.
If you have a question, you know,
a lot of people
let us know.
A lot of people end up failing on the internet because they fail to do a couple of things. And I'm going to tell you that right now. They fail to raise their hands and say, give me a hand. They fail to get involved in a conversation. They fail to ask the right questions, right? They fail to work with the right people. No one can twist your arm to do anything. You have a choice. You can work with who you want to work with. You can choose to say what you want to say or what you don't want to say. But if you don't open your mouth, if you don't speak your mind, then who do you have to blame for anything but yourself, right? You found this video, you're hearing us talk. Wherever you see this video, if you comment, somebody, me, you,
one of us,
you, me, we're gonna respond back to you. That's
a bonus you guys.
But that's pretty powerful statement we just said.
When you join, you get both of us. We're like a package deal. That's like double awesomeness, you know, double training, double support.
What are you joining? Well, you got to find that out. Because I don't want to tell you because that takes away the mysteriousness of it all, and that's no fun. And that's not no fun. It's about having fun. The fact here is, if you comment on this video, and whoever's blog you find a video on, I don't think it'll be on a lead capture page. It may just be sent out to our list. Who knows, really? But wherever you see this, if you comment, guess what? She's going to respond to you. I'm going to respond to you. It will both respond to you. But either way, if you're that person and you're sitting there and you want to know how you're going to get more resources, if you want to know how you can get what you want, right? If you're tired of always focused on money and not having it, well, it's time to do something about it. It's time for you to change.
Right.
And we can help you with that if you're interested. Only if you're interested.
Yeah? That's right. You have to have that desire, that passion.
So, we look forward to doing another video for you at some point in the near future.
Probably tomorrow.
More than likely tomorrow. Talk to you soon.
See ya.
Peace.